Hello editors, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. This is video number 4 in our series, and now we're going to start learning to edit. Let's get going. Okay, as we get started here working on our editing, there's one thing I need to point out. In the software, across the bottom of the screen, you'll notice there is a darker gray bar. That is our primary storyline. When we start assembling clips, that's where they will reside. It is what is known in Final Cut Pro as a magnetic storyline. We'll get into the details about what that means, but just know it handles things a little differently. If you've done video editing and other applications or other types of editing, it handles things just a little bit differently than what you might be used to. So just be ready for that. Just wanted to point that out. So looking at this, I have loaded up some clips. What our task is in this video is to get those clips down into the timeline. So what I can do if I want to is I can select several clips just like that and drag them down in it. That's a brute force way of doing it. We're not going to do that. We'll get those out of there. We're going to use my favorite command to get those out of there, which is undo. That's Command Z. If you have not used Command Z before, it is now your new best friend. It is undo. You can undo anything you've just done. It's a great idea. I love it. What we're going to do is we're going to learn a different way to do that. Rather than just brute force dragging them in, we're going to show how to do in and out points and get specific parts of a clip down into that timeline. We'll start, why not, with this picture of the mums. If you'll notice right below our browser window, the top of the project window, there are 4 icons right there. The first 3 are ones that we use to get our clips down into the timeline. This fourth one we're going to talk about right now. If I drop that down, this determines what I will be putting in the timeline when I send a clip down. By default, it is set to all, which means when I put a clip down there, it will put the video portion as well as the audio portion in the timeline. Most of the time, that's what you want. There will be times like what I'm doing right now, where all I want is the video. So if I select video only, only the images will go to the timeline. And likewise, if I choose audio only audio will go. So now I have selected video only. Now I have to select what part of this clip I would like to go to the timeline. If I go up here where it's showing me my preview and I click on that, you'll notice a yellow box goes around that window. That shows me what portion of this clip will be going into the timeline when I send it down there. If I move the whole way to the beginning, you'll notice my pointer turns to a left and right facing arrow. I can click and drag and change where the starting point is. That's called the in point. And I can move to the end and select the ending and move that. If I click and drag right and left, that changes the ending, which is called the out point. That is one way to set the in and out point of a clip. Another way to do that is if I move my playhead to where I know I want it to start. Maybe I want it to start, let's see, right there. Just randomly picking it. If I press the I key, that sets the in point, I for in. And then I move later where I want it to end. You can probably guess what key I hit. I is for in. To set out, it is O. So I hit I and O. I for in, O for out. Now I have set my in and out point. Now I need to go about the business of getting it down here into the primary storyline. If you notice, there are 3 buttons here, right there. The rightmost one is the one I'm going to do first. That is append to the storyline. What it will do is it will look at the primary storyline. If there are any clips in there, it will go to the very last one and it'll drop this clip right at the end of it, butt it right up against it. The key stroke shortcut for that is E. So when I press E like this, it is now in my storyline, and since there was nothing there, it just put it at the very beginning. So if I want to select another clip to put in there, I can grab maybe these purple flowers. I'll set my I by hitting I here. I'm just randomly picking points. I will set my out by hitting O there. Now I have my in and out points. Again, I want to use the append like I just showed, so if I hit E, it drops it in right at the end. A unique thing about the magnetic storyline is if I want to drag something later and I click and drag over this way, it won't go because it magnetically pulls the clip to the previous one. There are ways you can insert things in there or move things around. We'll get to that later. But just know, if I have clips, it'll pull them all together in that magnetic storyline. Let me grab one more here, set my in there and set my out there. There we go. And then drop it in by hitting E, which is append. Now I have 3 clips down in my storyline. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get rid of those. If I highlight them all and hit my delete button, that's another way to get rid of things. Let's use another method to get those in there. Let's see. You'll notice when I click on this clip, it still has the previous in and out selections. I will drop those in there because I want something to work with. The next button we're going to go over, instead of appending, we will use this one right here in the middle, which is called insert. The keystroke for the insert key is W. So if I were to press W, it would look at the timeline wherever my playhead is currently located, which is this yellow line right here. Let's move it right to the middle of that clip. If I hit insert button, which is W, it will take that clip, split it, and whatever I have selected, drop it right into the middle. So let's collect this one right here. If I hit W, watch what happens in the timeline. It split this first clip right where the playhead was. So insert, that's how insert works. It always goes to the primary storyline, just like the E button always goes to the end of the primary storyline. And then this is where things get a little bit different. The last one right here is connect to the primary storyline. That is the button Q. Q will do this. So let's select, say, this leaf right here. Where again, wherever my playhead is located, let's say I put it right there. When I hit Q, it will attach it to the primary storyline. When I do that, note where it puts it. Instead of dropping it into the primary line, it actually attaches to a clip on above it, excuse me. So if you look really closely, you can see a little line right there going from this top clip to the bottom clip. That is where it is attached. So if I were to ever move this pink flower clip, that clip that is attached to it will stay attached to it right at that spot. That's important to remember when you're rearranging clips. So let me show you another feature of the magnetic timeline. If I click on this pink flower clip, and maybe I want to move it here to the end, watch what happens when I click and drag. The previous clip moves forward automatically using that magnetic feature, and when I let go of my mouse button, it drops that in there again right at the end. You'll notice this clip that I had attached moved with it. So always remember, attaches it, and when you attach video clips, they usually go above. If I were to attach an audio clip, I have this little song right here. Say I want to attach that, it will go again where the primary or where the playhead is, and when I click on attach, which is Q, it puts audio down below. It doesn't have to be that way, but it just separates it. Put audio below, video above, just to make it easier for us to know where things are. So now I have these clips and a song and everything in the timeline. Those actually are the 3 ways to get your clips into the timeline. Set your in and out point by pressing I, by pressing O. There you go. Put it in your timeline by either hitting E to drop it at the end, like that. I can press W and it will insert it. Watch, it'll split that clip, put it right in the middle. Or I can attach it by pressing the Q key. Now it is attached above that. Those are the 3 ways you can do that. And I mentioned while it's in the primary storyline, you cannot click and drag it around. An attached clip I can drag. Say I don't want it here. Watch as I drag it. It changes that point where it's connected. It will even change what clip it is connected to depending on where I have it. So right there, if I drop it, you see now it has a new connect point. You can do that with attached clips. You'll notice, like in a lot of other editing programs or still image editing programs like Photoshop or whatever, the clip that is highest will be in front of everything else. So if I were to move this over these flowers at the beginning, you'll notice I see trees. I don't see these flowers because the tree clip is higher. So important to keep that hierarchy in mind. No pun intended. A couple other things I need to point out. Navigating this window, there are some additional keystrokes. If my playhead is here and say I want to move right or left, I can use my arrow keys. If I use my left arrow key or my right arrow key and press it by itself, watch the counter right here in the middle of that. If I just go right and left, actually the counter right here shows me minute, second, frame. So moving just the arrow by itself, it goes 1 frame at a time. I can get very precise in moving things around. If I hold down my shift button and press left or right, you'll notice it goes by 10 frames at a time. So arrow by itself, 1 frame, shift arrow, and it goes 10 frames, and that will go either direction, just like that. If I want to move another way, that was left and right. If I move up and down, it will move to the previous or the next break that happens. You'll notice there's a break here, and a break here, and a break here, and one here where it clips beginning and ending. If I hit up, it will take me to the next break. Watch where it jumps. Right there, right there. It will also go according to things that are attached. So it'll go to that end of that attached clip here, or the beginning of it, and then the next clip. So that is up or down arrow keys. You move like that. So that's a really handy way to get nice and precise with movement of that. If you're off by one frame, it can make things difficult. Finally, I want to talk about zooming in and out. You'll notice that the clips I have there are just taking the very bottom left hand of that project window. I can zoom in and out to see closer or farther away. If I want to zoom in, I hold down Command key and press plus. You notice that has zoomed in. Press plus again. It has zoomed in more. I can see greater detail. If I want to go the other direction and zoom out, I press Command minus. Command minus will go, and you get to a certain point, it won't go any farther. One other thing, I can hit a set of keystrokes to get it so that whatever clips I have in my timeline, it will stretch them to fill that window. Watch, if I press Shift and press the Z key, it has taken all the clips. It doesn't matter how many clips I have, it will do however many clips are in that window, stretch them to fill the window all the way to the end. That also is pretty handy. So if I want to zoom, say I'm zoomed way in like that, and I want to see everything, and that's just way too much. I hit Shift Z, boom, everything's like that. Nice and even. All right, so that's it. Believe it or not, that is all it takes to get clips from here down into here. You got these 4 buttons to decide if you want all video only or audio only, and these 3 buttons to determine how you want them to be sent into your project window. Next video, we're going to talk about how to modify these clips once they are in your project window. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Remember, as always, if you like it, click on the like button. If you want to subscribe, click on subscribe and click notify if you want to be notified anytime I upload a video or I am online. All right, let's see you in video number 5. Thanks for watching. I'm out.